All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? Today's going to be a little rough, I think, especially if you don't like swear words. But I'm going to call this one, Learn to Tell Yourself and Others to Go Fuck Themselves. I know, it's crazy, right? My mom gets upset when I swear on podcasts, so I'm going to really swear on this one to send it home. I don't even know what the hell she's listening to my podcast for half the time. She's hilarious. Anyways. So, a lot of that I meant as a joke, but there's a lot of seriousness to this as well. And I'm going to first start with yourself. And this took me so many years to master. And I always talk about there's three of us in our heads, I think. There's the one that comes up with the idea that says, hey, let's go do this, right? And then there's the lazy ass that says, hey, let's not do this. There's too much work involved. And then you need the third one to come in to tell both of them to shut the fuck up and just go do it, right? That's who you need to depend on from now on, I believe. Because I really believe, I'm telling you this, for some reason, it's almost, and I think that's what a lot of people, there's just always these, you're fighting yourself a lot of times. And I believe a lot of it's fear-driven. I think a lot of it is laziness, and it's all those type of things mixed into one, which is, this is no whatever. You probably go through it yourself. Should I go to the gym? Oh, man, it's kind of late. I'm tired. Oh, there's going to be traffic. It's rush hour. Or it's 5. What time is it? Oh, it's after. You already know it's after work. It's going to be busy. I'm not going to be able to get on the equipment I want. Oh, let's just do it tomorrow. You know what? I got a headache. Or you know what? I think I'm just going to go do this. Or whatever the case may be. I'm just using working out as one of the examples. But that could go for trying a new career, going to learn something new at a university. It could be a junior college. It could be you just knowing something has to be done at your house. It could be losing weight. There's a million things you can drag your ass, right? But if you want to get shit done, tell yourself to go fuck yourself, because you're giving yourself a pass or an out. That person or that whatever it is in your head, I don't know what to call it, your thoughts, I don't know, like I was saying, there's always yin and yang in there. And I don't know if that was programmed in us, right? If you look at, that's the one thing I will say about the military that I love, that, they program these young men. It's about not the problem, the solution. When something goes wrong, you make it right. They move forward after boot camp, or, Navy SEAL training or SEAL training, all these things, they are on go. That other asshole that kept stopping them before probably isn't there. Or if he is there, they probably blow right past them. And I think that's what we have to learn to have. And I think when we're younger, we have that component where it's like we can kind of do anything, right? And we think we're young, we think we're indestructible, we think we have the whole world ahead of us, or our whole life's ahead of us, which we do, a lot of us. And we, all these things where it's like, go, go, go. Even if you're partying, you think you can handle more liquor than you can, or whatever the case may be. Work, you think you could work your ass off and do full-time school, full-time work, all this before you know it, you're exhausted. But anyways, you have the balls, or you have the go, right? You're on the go. I call it the green light. You're going. As we get older, a lot of times we're on yellow a little bit, right? Kind of yellow lighting it. Sometimes we're like slowing down. We're like, oh, let's cool out here. Even though I do want to get that accomplished. Let me slow down here, and if let me speed up. Oh, wait a minute, I sped up and I got a ticket, or whatever the hell I'm just using for an example. It's kind of like you don't know what to do a lot of times. Should I slow down or should I go fast? Now, all of a sudden, as you're getting older, you're seeing the red light, right? Something is in there that's almost, and I get we don't a lot of times have the same energy, but I also believe we've been programmed to think we're getting older and we don't have the same energy. And a lot of us you get tired. I'm not saying you don't get tired, but I have realized with a lot of people involved with fitness in their life that eat a little better than everybody else, that live in certain climates, I will throw Florida and California, or that are environments where nothing stops them from getting something done, no excuses, they seem to have a lot more energy also if you get a lot more sleep. So I'll take Florida and California. I've lived in both. And I lived in Chicago. Florida and California, for the most part, especially California, there's no excuse not to get something done. it has everything you've ever wanted, at least in the United States, right? You wake up, especially Southern Cal where I live, it barely ever even rains. I mean, really. There's no tornadoes. I mean, there may be an earthquake, but that's usually far and few between. There's no snow. There's no sleet. You get up. The only excuse is you if you don't get something done. That goes for work, physical, anything. Right? Now, if there's a mudslide or a fire, I was actually in one of those big fires in Carlsbad. But I get that happens once in a while in California. Florida can slow you down in the summer because it really does get very hot, especially South Florida. But still, for the most part, it rains. It may slow you down a little bit. But again, it's not 20 below. You're not dealing with ice storms. All these type of things, right? You may deal with a hurricane here or there. You can get shit done. But people in the Midwest, I'll just throw my family in Chicago, or even I have friends on the East Coast, even including Toronto. A lot of bad weather. A lot of you being forced to stay indoors, right? Just for safety reasons as well. It's freezing. I travel throughout North America. I've even been to Alaska in January, February. I mean, I have been in blizzards that I thought I was going to die. I've driven in them. Many times I've been stuck in places, cars down. I can't even tell you how many times I've had some bad where I thought it was over that night. And to make a long story short, obviously I made it. But back to, I think some people want those barriers or they want those blocks. And then as we get older, we like almost, what's the word I'm looking for? We depend on things to stop us from doing what we want to do. Because we'll use excuses, any excuses we have, basically. You've got to get more physical, I believe. The more you're fluent with working out, that doesn't mean exhausting yourself while working out. I'm not saying you have to eat great by any means. But as long as you're physical and you get the proper amount of rest, you're going to start thinking clearer, I promise you. If you're somebody who is sitting around day in and day out, even if you travel, I talk about this all the time. If you get, you drive to an airport or you take an Uber or Lyft or whatever, get to the airport, you're sitting. I would walk if I were you, but if you're sitting, waiting to get on the plane or planes, then you're on the plane sitting, then you land, you go to a hotel. A lot of times you check in, you take a nap, which is fine. I'm down with naps, or sitting in the hotel watching TV. Then you go eat dinner, you're sitting. I'm just using this for an example. A lot of people, same with their house. They go home, they wake up in the morning, they get in their, they have breakfast, drive in their car to work, sitting down, unless it's physical labor. That's a whole different ride. I'm not talking about those people. Those people kick it in the ass. Even retail, that's more physical. But if you are in an office or you're sitting a lot, then you go to lunch, you're sitting, come home, dinner, most likely you're sitting, again, maybe sitting, watching Netflix. You're sitting, okay? You've got to become more mobile. I'm just telling you that. That has really nothing to do with this podcast, even though I get yelled at sometimes. I go on these tangents. But my girlfriend's saying, how did you start off with telling someone to go fuck themselves? Now you're talking about them being physical. It's just shit I do. Had some water. That's just, it comes to my mind. I just got to tell you this. And one of the reasons I'm telling you this is because the more physical you go or get, the more you really think you could do, and the more things I believe you can conquer. That doesn't mean you have to change your job or any of those type of things. What I'm really trying to show you is don't blow off workouts and start taking care of your body and get blood flow throughout the day. Try not to sit as much. I even heard these studies about kids from years ago, hundreds of years ago, that worked in farms and stuff, how physical they were, and then schools came along, which is wonderful. We want to educate our kids, and we made them sit and not move that much. And, they started to sit in schools more and more and more. And now, right now, there's been more, I think, obesity than ever, at least in the United States. I don't know about North America. They won't even start teaching kids to stand up while they're learning because the sitting. And then a lot of kids, as you know, they're sitting at school, sitting playing video games. A lot of them don't leave the house like they used to, like when we were younger. You've got to get motivated. The more you move, and again, that doesn't mean you have to go out and conquer the world, go do a triathlete or a triathlon, any of that. I'm just telling you to move. And back to telling yourself to go F yourself. There's always going to be, and I go through it too, that yin and yang thing where you're like, I want to do this. And then either that other thing comes in and either installs fear in you or really makes you feel bad like you're not worthy of it or you're going to fail. I just did a podcast on that. If you maybe get a chance, check it out. You're not a failure. But anyways, you really have to understand that if you do not start really moving and taking care of yourself and getting motivated, your body is slowly going to start basically breaking down, I believe, especially your legs, your hips, your knees, your joints. I've been putting tons of videos up. I'm going to be doing a huge one on stretching. But again, the more you do throughout the day, again, the more you're conquering. And the more you're conquering, the more your belief of yourself is going to change. And I think, especially for middle-aged people, they don't believe they can do a lot of things or get a lot of things done. I do one-offs a lot of times, flying all over the United States. So I was in Chicago. I had a run to get to an airport to get to Toronto. And I usually don't take morning flights, but I had to. I worked in Toronto that night, 6 a.m. flight. Next day I had a catch. I had to come to Spokane. Tomorrow I'm going to Seattle. Then Seattle, I'm going to Florida. And I'm going on 50. Now, I understand I'm a different type of person than most. That doesn't mean I'm more physically fit than most people. That doesn't mean, but I do have a different mindset when it comes to getting something done. I look at it still that if you give me something that I know I can conquer, I'll conquer it. Now, if you all of a sudden said, Rich, go out and say, I actually helped my buddy one summer at his law firm, like, 6-7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. I went to Chicago. I just wanted to spend summer in Chicago. I was living in California. And one of my closest friends owns a law firm. And he said, come here. We're going to do Sox games. We're going to eat dinners, lunches. We're just going to hang in the city. Let's have a spring or like a summer vacation thing, like when we're kids. I said, I'm going to do it. I went and did it. I mean, he's one of the most brilliant men I've ever been around, and he's one of my closest friends. I learned a lot from him. Just working in the law firm, I realized how many things have to get done, obviously, and I was by no means a lawyer or a paralegal. Don't get that confused. I did learn a lot with him, but I realized just by trying something new what I can get accomplished, but I also know what my strengths and weaknesses are. A lot of times, if you're listening to this podcast, a lot of things may be stopping you from doing what you want to do because you truly don't want to do them. And I talk about that in fitness, so I'm just going to use that for an example. You can use it in work or whatever, but if it's taking you years to go join a gym, most likely you've been to gyms, you don't like them. You don't like the equipment, it may bore you, you may not like the people, you don't like the location of the gym, you may not like the facility, you may not like whatever. Then maybe you should start thinking, hey, maybe swimming is for me. I should just go to a YMCA or go somewhere where I could swim, or maybe volleyball is your thing, maybe hiking's your thing. Maybe, whatever you want to take on. I don't care if it's water skiing. I don't care if it's snow skiing, snowboarding. Because when you start putting your mindset in, like, going after things you really want to do, you don't have the yin and yang where it's coming against you. It's kind of like saying a lot of guys like to watch football, I'll just use for an example. Or a lot of women like to shop. And I don't mean to throw, I know that's kind of, well, Rich, you're kind of being whatever. But I'm just using these two as an example. Don't take it personal. For a guy, it's effortless for a guy to wake up, obviously watch football or go with his buddies to a football game, a live football game. Regardless how much money it costs, how long they got to drive in traffic, how hard it is to get in the stadium, how much money they're going to waste doing it all. They are like a pig in shit running there, usually with their buddies, right? It could be basketball, it could be any sport. Baseball, if they love it, some of them buy season tickets. Some of these games are 50, 60 games. How the hell can they make it to a season ticket like a basketball or baseball, and you can't make it to the gym, a couple times? It's crazy. The effort that it takes to do certain things. Same with shopping. A lot of women can't stand working out, let's just say, or whatever the case may be. And I'll throw one of my daughters in this. She hates sweating. She can walk 1,000 miles if you take her shopping to a mall. Also, if you take her to a theme park, she can go from morning to night. And she hates shopping, the other one, my other daughter, but she could go to a theme park. She claims when she's shopping, one of them claims she hates to work out, but can walk in malls forever. The other one loves to work out, but hates to walk in malls. My point being is, when you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. But when you do want to do something, nothing gets in the way. You're not even thinking about it sometimes from a logical standpoint, because if I go to a mall, like if I told my daughter go walk on the treadmill or just walk in general, she'd be like, it's too hot outside. That bores me to death. I don't like walking. But now if I take her to 5 malls in a day, she can walk 10 miles, 15 miles. She didn't even realize because she's doing what she loves. So anyways, back to telling you now others to go F themselves. Here's the thing. A lot of times people are talking so much shit to us. And I'm not telling you to be blunt and tell your friends, colleagues, family members, parents, anybody, hey, go fuck yourself. That's not what I'm saying. In your mind, you should be telling them that a lot of times. Everybody that's not on your level, and I don't mean on your level of intelligence, I mean like not out for your best interests. A lot of people want to sway you to kind of be similar to what they are, or kind of bring you into who they are, if that makes sense. So if you got a lazy friend a lot of times, right, they're going to always tell you or want to make you kind of lazy. Let's sit around, let's do this, let's not do that, that's stupid, that sucks, right? If you want to start working out, get around somebody who's fit that wants to work out and tell him, again, he's still your buddy. I'm not telling you to get rid of your buddy. Go F yourself. I'm going to go work out. But I think a lot of times we are afraid to do certain things because the people we're surrounded by. And that goes for even like, say, quit smoking. My buddies all smoke cigars and I'll have a cigar. But I can't smoke them like they do all the time. I don't know how they do it. I physically don't feel good doing it. And again, I have to tell them, I will say bluntly, go F yourself. I just did it yesterday because I did a cigar and then they wanted to do two. I did it. And then the next day they're doing more cigars. But if I kept smoking the cigars like they do and they're fine doing it, I just don't feel good doing it. I got to say, go F yourself. And a lot of people don't always have our best interest. You got to realize that. And that can be a lot of people that are very close to us, they don't have it. So you got to learn who does and who doesn't. Most likely who is going to burn you. And it may even be accidental, not even, but you're going to get burned by the ones you love because that's when you let your guard down. Or it's the ones you want to help. And a lot of times, like I was just saying, you're going to be in a point where you help someone, you may lose money, you may lose, whatever the case may be. You just may have a problem with what was going on. And that's going to happen. But back to telling people to go F themselves, if you can start kind of figuring that out before that happens, because I know a lot of times we find ourselves in a position where people are expecting more from us than we really want to give or that we can even handle, but we still do it or take these things on. It can even be if you're single and you got a girlfriend, she wants you to co-sign for a car, or you're going to an apartment complex and their credit's bad, so you put the whole apartment complex or a mortgage, you put the whole mortgage in your name, and before you know it, you break up or you get a divorce. Now you're stuck with it. These are the type of things. Really pay attention and don't be afraid to tell people to go fuck themselves. And, I've had I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of shady people. I know. And I still love them to death. They'll come to me with some really good things. It's good deals that I know I can make some money on, and I literally say to go F yourself because I just don't feel comfortable doing it. It's not even that I would lose a lot or it would hurt my relationship if it didn't work out the way it did. I just can say that. And once people know you're honest and genuine and you know how to say no to them, even your loved ones, they're going to treat you different. But I think a lot of times with people we love, or you may do this to people too. They can't say no to you, right? So you know what? I need this. I'm just going to go ask my buddy or my family member. They'll give it to me. Who gives a shit, right? No. Don't be that jagoff. Don't put other people in positions that they either can't handle or may end up in a bad spot for them. It could be even going out and getting smashed with your buddies, letting him drive, getting a DUI, and you're not driving. You're an asshole, and you both should be Ubering. Or you could be setting your friend up where you go out and you don't have enough money to go out, but you expect him to pick up all the drinks. Even small things like that. Don't be that jagoff, but be a person who basically tells people to go fuck themselves and tells people, no, I'm not interested in that. Too bad. All right, here could be something too I think that people also get caught up in is when within groups. I'm not a good traveler. So when I travel in groups, I can't do it. There's too many opinions, too many people, whatever. I tell people I don't travel in groups. A lot of my friends travel, they go everywhere. They go to Vegas, they go here, there. I will tell them, I'll fly there and meet you, or I'll come there. I need to be separated. People get on my nerves very quickly because I'm kind of easy breezy to say, let's just do what we got to do. They start trying all these different things. Everybody's got to have a different time to eat breakfast. They got to do different things that I don't want to do. All those type of things. And I'm just using this for an example. But if people are making you nuts in your life, either coming to you too often for things you don't have or you don't want to help them with, learn to tell them that go F yourself. Just like I was telling you in your head, tell yourself to go F yourself. Because sometimes you play games with yourself the same way you kind of play games with everyone else. And it almost becomes a con and a lie and a game. Forget all the nonsense. Clear it out. If everything you keep doing is genuine, I promise you genuine things are going to keep happening in your life. You keep playing games with yourself and others, the only one who's going to get played is you. I promise you that. I talk about that all the time. The only one I say all the time, the only one usually, most con men or most people that are always conning people, they usually end up with the least. I mean, they may end up in jail or whatever. They eventually will get caught. They bullshit so much, they almost bullshit themselves into a corner. And don't put yourself in those positions. Don't go that far into it. Don't get over your head. Don't also live outside your means. Don't convert into something you don't want to be, man. It's so easy to be truthful to yourself, right? But for some reason, a lot of us keep lying to ourselves. I don't know, again, why we do that. Some people are just professional liars and manipulators. They were almost, I don't know if they were programmed that way. I've been around tons of them guys, especially when I used to gamble and do things myself, illegal. And before you know it, you find yourself taking on these traits of kind of being shady. And before you know it, you start accepting things that you didn't find acceptable before, right? And that goes with a lot of things in life. Nip that shit in the bud real fast. You're not comfortable doing things with people that are making you feel like you should do them. Tell them, again, go fuck yourselves. Really, I talk about this a lot. One bad day or one bad move, if your friends are doing something that's illegal, I don't care if it's white collar, blue collar, on the streets, whatever, one bad move is a game changer. And again, on the reverse end, your mind sometimes should be saying no, but the other time now you're saying let's go forward, back to green light, like let's go, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. When the other guy is actually starting to protect you to say, no, I don't think we should do it because if we get caught, this will happen or this will lead to this will lead to that. You got to learn how to work your mind both ways. Sometimes when your brain is telling you, putting on the brakes, it's telling you for a reason, to protect yourself, obviously, right? It's not sometimes if you want to do something shady, for instance, and your brain's saying no, you're like, quit acting like a bitch in your brain. What are you trying, you know what I mean? Like that mindset. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there, but please learn how to tell yourself and others to go F themselves, especially people that don't have your best interest. And if you're one of those assholes that keeps doing that to people, you need to slap in the face. So I'm going to throw that out there as well. Learn to help people be the best they can be, right? Don't manipulate. I mean, manipulation is, to me, it's almost as bad as jealousy. When you want to manipulate somebody to go do something fun, surprise them, wonderful. That's going to have a great outcome. But if you're manipulating people to get more out of them or manipulate them to do certain things for you that nobody else will do or put them possibly in a bad spot, again, you need a slap in the face. And you need to be called out on that. Listen, a lot of people are pieces of shit out there. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, no one's perfect. But if you keep doing shit that's horrible, you might just be an asshole and a horrible person. So if you want to be that, you can always be that. But what I'm saying is if you don't want to be that, don't start heading down that road, right? All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. What do I got? I got a Mastery Self-Confidence program. What else? I got a YouTube channel. If you get a chance, you might want to check that out. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm sick of saying all that same shit, personally. But yeah, if you like some of this, you might like some of my other previous podcasts where I call people out on their bullshit and things in that nature. Hopefully, I'm not going to get too much of a backlash on this. I think you know what I meant. I kind of flip-flopped all over the place, which is par for the course for me. But please, don't take advantage of people and don't let people take advantage of you. All right? If you're traveling, safe travels.